Namaste everyone! Today I'm going to be demonstrating some fairly simple hip opening postures you can do at home. I know for myself personally, my hips are very tight. They've always been very tight. There's lots of factors for everyone. Perhaps you sit at a desk all day. Perhaps you're a runner. Perhaps it's simply genetics. I know for myself, I've trained from a fairly young age and I've tried to open up my hips for a long time, and it is still a struggle. It's an everyday journey. And I know I'm not alone in this. I know a lot of people struggle with tight hips. So, before we dive into the postures, I do want to give this, I would say, word of warning. I love to hold my postures personally between 5 and 10 minutes. So that gives me more of a yin style of working in these hip openers. Now, you can choose to do them just for 10 breaths or so, or a minute or two, or you can choose to hold them longer. It's really up to you and your own body. If you choose to hold them the way I like to, in the 5 to 10 minute range, there is a huge difference. This is just a little bit of a disclaimer. There's a difference between pain and discomfort. So, if you're in any pain ever, and they may develop within 2, 3, 4 minutes into holding these postures. Sometimes you may start to feel something in your knees, for instance, that's an example, or you start to feel some numbness in the body, or just not a good stretching discomfort, but more of a, I might pull something, or something's wrong. If you ever feel this, please either shift your position in order to find a position that works better for your body, or what helps sometimes is to slowly, always move slowly out of these postures that you're holding for a long time, exit, and re-enter. That may help a lot. Now, discomfort. After a few minutes, you may feel a lot of stretching sensation. You also may feel your brain start to talk at you. Your brain might be telling you, oh, when can I get out of these postures? This is starting to be uncomfortable. And your muscles start to tighten up even more. This is the discomfort I'm talking about, and you really have to work on surrendering. It's not easy. It's funny how these gentle postures can be quite intense. So what I like to do when I feel that brain chatter happening and feeling very uncomfortable in these postures, you take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, see if you can tell your muscles to surrender just a little bit deeper. Try this breath, slow in, slow out, at least 5 times, and see if you can get yourself to let go further. It's usually, my experience, usually at the point of this discomfort. Sorry, my kitty is walking across the screen. I'm just going to move her aside. Hi, baby. And for those of you at home that have a Manduka mat and animals, they love the texture of these mats. Scratch, scratch. Yeah, so you really have to watch them on these pricey mats that you have. I'm just gonna move her into the kitchen. My baby. I'm gonna move her in the kitchen, okay? Sorry, just one moment. It won't be too long. I just locked her in the kitchen for just a little bit so she doesn't disrupt us again. Yes, so fully release is the aim. Get your muscles to fully let go, fully surrender in the body and the mind within these postures. I love these yin postures. They get into a more meditative place. And once you get to that place of full surrender, it feels phenomenal. I'm going to demo about 10 deep breaths each, but of course take anything you want from this video, and you can extend the time for 5 to 10 minutes, and just breathe into these postures at your own pace. But this is a quick demo. I'm going to start in a pigeon pose on the right side. So, right knee to the right side of the mat. Your left leg extends long behind you. Now, make sure the hips are even. I don't want us to be falling either right or left in these postures, or in this posture specifically. Now, if you're only holding the posture for a minute or two, even if you have tight hips and your hips are way off the floor, you don't technically need a block or a pillow under the seat. You can use your muscles to hold yourself up, strengthening and stretching at the same time. However, if you choose to hold these postures between 5 and 10 minutes, you do want complete surrender of the muscles, so then please place a prop underneath your hip and make sure the hips are even. And we're going to begin, actually before we lower down, try to stack the shoulders up over the hips. from there, we gently melt ourselves forward. Now, sorry you can't completely see me in this video. I am doing this in my very small apartment in New York City, and this is a whole new territory for me. The whole doing virtual online stuff after the whole pandemic situation. I'll eventually do these videos outside, but it's a little cold out. So today I'm doing it indoors. If you can, drop your head all the way down and begin to let go. I'm going to count about 10 deep breaths before we switch. Always moving slow out of any imposture you're in. Let's begin to walk our hands back. Now, staying where we are, you're just going to take a sit down on that right hip and left leg long in front of you. Now, flex that left foot, cross the knee cross the leg over that left leg. Some people for this twist like to have a straight arm over that leg. I want to get more stretch through my leg. So personally, I hook with my elbow and pull upwards. Pull up towards the ceiling. I get a nice stretch all the way through the side. Place your right hand behind you. Make sure you find length through the spine. Long spine, and keep pulling up. From here, let's take a deep breath in. And gently twist. 2 more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Taking a gentle counter twist. Returning center. Bending this left leg. Doing the best we can. Now, it's per your own flexibility. Both sits bones rooted down as best you can. Make sure you have that. And if you can wiggle yourself around in order to stack the knees more on top of each other. I have tight hips. I feel this a lot going through both hips. You may too, or you may not. If you feel that you want more, long spine first. Long spine. Think belly towards your thigh. Instead of this roundingness happen, you want to find that length first. From there, you walk the fingers forward, keeping that long spine. Maybe you stop here. See how far you can go without rounding the back. A few deep breaths. Let's take 3 more here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. And 5 more breaths. Go ahead and round the spine now as far as you want. 5 deep breaths. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more times. Beginning to support yourself as you roll on up. Hands behind you. Slowly extend the legs. Shake it out. I like to bend both knees. Take a gentle walk side to side. All right. Let's switch sides. However you want to get there. Can, if you want, start in a downward dog. From there, you can draw that left knee in towards the chest. Flex that foot. Now, your shin, I don't have the flexibility for this, but your shin parallel to the top of the mat is the ideal position. I definitely don't have this in my hips myself, so I definitely have a bend in that knee. Same thing on this side. Stack the shoulders up, take a breath, and you can either stop on your forearms or you can continue. Scooch down here so you can see me. And melt down. Now let's all take 10 slow, deep breaths here at your own pace. If you hear my kitty crying, she's fine. Don't worry about her. Let's begin to slowly come up. She is a princess. She's a little whiny baby. She'll be fine for the next few minutes until I let her out, because I know she likes to get in everything, and she'll lay on my mat and scratch. So, from here, sit onto that left hip. Right leg comes forward. Flexed foot. Hug that knee into the chest and find a long spine. From there, we cross a leg over, hooking the knee, pulling upwards, finding a long spine. Other hand comes behind you. Pull until you feel perhaps that stretch going through that left leg. Inhale and exhale, twist. 2 more breaths. Breath in and twist. 1 more time. Find a gentle counter twist, just for a moment. From there, we return center, bending the right leg or the right knee. Getting the hip bones to stack or to root down. That's the most important thing. Doesn't matter how stacked the knees, how much your knees are stacked. But if you can, shift around just a little bit and stack your knees. Let's find that long spine. If this is where you are, fantastic. I feel a lot without having to go forwards. But if you can, wiggle your fingers forward. Long, long, long spine. No rounding in the back. You want to lift, belly towards that thigh, and breathe. Shoulders back. Let's do 5 deep breaths. About 5. Deep inhale and deep exhale. 2 more. And melt forwards. About 5 deep breaths here. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Try to flex that foot, both feet if you can. 5 breaths. Supporting yourself on the way up. Extending your legs long. Again, I'm shortening the length of these postures. With pigeon, it's easy, not easy, but it's easier to hold between 5 and 10 minutes. For this one that we just did, I recommend a little shorter, maybe 3-ish or so, because it can be quite intense. So windshield wiper your legs. From here, you're going to bend one knee and extend the other leg long. From there, it is a little challenging to get the sit bone down, but try. Root that down. Arm up and over your straight leg. This is, you may feel a nice side body lengthening here, space between the ribs. I'm going to shorten this to speed this up a little. Turn to face the leg. I like to hold the back of my shin here and gently pull forwards. Do this to both sides. Come on up. Flex the foot. With the leg that's straight, make sure that foot is flexed. Reach up and over. So while I'm here, I'm trying to make sure I have long line of energy here. I'm not turning towards my leg yet. Try not to cheat. I don't have the flexibility for it, but some people can reach so far that you're able to grab at your toe. That's fantastic. If not, stay right here. Totally fine. Rotate to face the long leg. I like to grab somewhere behind my calf or my shin and pull yourself forward. It depends on where you're tight. Some people feel this in the backs of the legs, maybe through this hip. I feel it all the way through one side of my back. Depends on your body. Anywhere that you're feeling that nice stretching sensation is fantastic. Now let's curl our way up. For my last hip opening posture, I'm just going to lengthen out both legs into a straddle. For many people, this is not that accessible. I can get my forearms down quite easily, as well as my head. Some things, if that's not happening, is to place blocks at whatever level. Rest your head on the blocks to get some contact from your head to the floor. Here too, how we start is think long spine. It's tough for me. I have very tight hips in this posture. It's hard for me to get a long spine. I stop about here. So I'm going to rotate around so you can see what I'm talking about. So I can get a long spine until about here. And then if I go further, you'll see that bit of rounding right here in my back. We're trying to avoid that to start. So long spine. For this, make sure your knees are not rocking inwards. Your knees and your toes are all facing up. You can stay here for a few moments before you melt into the yin. Into the yin version. No matter how much you need to support yourself with blocks, or you can just go ahead and round the back at this point and fully surrender. Let's just breathe here for about 10 deep breaths. Ideally, you hold this much longer at home, but this is just a demo. About 10 deep breaths. Stay in the posture. I'm just going to rotate my own body here. All right, let's gently round our way up. Another option for the straddle is to maybe place a block under your seat. For those of us with really tight hips, that little bit of elevation or that pillow will enable you to get that long spine just a little bit more. So try with the block, or see how it feels. You may, sometimes I use the block for a while and then I realize, no, I'm better situated on the floor. And it varies from day to day, so see what works for you. If the straddle also is super not accessible for you today, varies on the day, you can find a butterfly position in your legs. I like to cup my hands underneath my toes. This posture, ironically, is harder for me than the straddle, but I know some people have more accessibility here than in the straddle, so it's really up to your body. It's quite challenging for me to lengthen through my spine here. I'm kind of pulling with my hands a little to assist that, and you can gently fold forwards and breathe here. I know for me, this is less of a yin for me because it's hard for me to fully surrender and relax into this pose. mainly I don't choose to hold this pose between 5 and 10 minutes because I can't fully surrender into it. It's more of an active position for me, and I don't want to cause too much strain on the body. So for this one, I just don't hold as long. But you do you. It feels different for every single person. So, all right, let's curl our way up. Maybe you want to extend both legs and take an easy forward fold. This is fun for me. You can start with both knees bent if you want, and see if you can get your hands completely around the feet. And you extend one, you kind of point through the balls of your feet, pedaling motion. With this pedaling motion, I feel a nice stretch in the upper part of my back and my shoulders. All right, curling up. We just did a lot of forward folding, so just nice and easy. Come to take a seat underneath. Hands behind you, chest up towards the ceiling. Turn this side here. Chest up to the ceiling. Find a gentle back bend. All right. Thank you so much. I hope you took something away from this video. Namaste all.